premium protection.
Please return to your seats. Class is now in session at usaprepares.com. Interact now by emailing instructor@usaprepares.com or text 417-200-4715. And now, Vincent Finelli and Mark Wright.
And we're back on USA Prepares. I'm Mark Wright. I'm here with Vincent Finelli, the original survival economist. And Vincent, we have Mike Mah on the phone. We'll be back with him in just a minute. But we got to talk about our meetup, our very first meetup this afternoon from 5:30 to 7 at Ziggy's Cafe.
Did you say this afternoon?
This afternoon.
At 5:30, right?
5:30.
5:30. And that's at the corner of Sunshine and Glenstone.
Correct. You nailed it. Right there at the Lamplighter Inn. Everybody knows where the Lamplighter. Actually, Ziggy's Cafe is a part of the Lamplighter Inn lobby.
Mm-hmm. So, class, you're all invited. We'll be discussing this week's class topics and what you can do about them right now. You're invited to bring your like-minded friends. You can meet Mark and me. And if Mike Mah were in town, you'd be meeting Mike Mah. However, at another meetup during the expo in September, Mike Mah will be here, and we'll have another one. So you get a chance to shake his hand and see him firsthand. And he's got a couple books, and I'm sure he'll be glad to autograph them for you, just like he autographed them for us. And they are really cool books about all kinds of jams that Mike's gotten into. So, yeah, the meetup, this class, 5:30 till about 7 o'clock or so. There's a special menu for us at the Ziggy's at Glenstone and Sunshine, $5.99 to $7.99 for dinner.
That's a good deal.
Good deal.
How many dinners can you get for $5.99 that are edible and nutritious? Not any that I know outside of Ziggy's.
Yeah. You want to talk about storm shelters?
I think we ought to talk about storm shelters. We have good friends over at Missouri Storm Shelters, don't we?
We do. Well, let's start with let's talk about some comments from some of the customers. This safe room is great. All the parts we needed were provided, and everything fit together perfectly. Nothing was too heavy, and the two of us put together the shelter in less than 2.5 hours. The beautiful powder-coated finish and fit is fantastic. Thanks again. That's from a customer in Marshfield, Missouri.
Yeah, Bill and Evelyn from Battlefield said this: our shelter was delivered on time as promised. The crew was courteous, polite, and considerate of our property. Could not believe how fast it was installed.
Yeah, and there's another one from Daryl and Joyce in Ozark, and it's always nice to get what you paid for, but in this case, you get far more. Good service, good product, professional installation, and friendly people.
Steve and Judy from Ash Grove say, y'all are something else. In our dealings, we have enjoyed our personal and professional concern. The manner in which you dealt with us in your office, as well as the way Jeff jumped right into the installation, is a delight in this day and age. We were very relieved that only a week and a half later, we rode out the March 11th and 13th storms knowing our family was safe. Man, what a peace of mind from that family.
Yeah, and Kevin from Bourbon, Missouri, says he's proud to have a storm shelter of this quality. The service and installation was perfect. So we're back with Mike Mah. Mike, it's wonderful to have you here again. You know, you've been at the farm, and we're around the dining room table, and a lot of us were armed, and it was just a hoot, wasn't it, Mike?
Oh, it was. Being around like-minded people is always good, and it's always education.
Yeah.
That's what the whole seminar was just great. I mean, I couldn't imagine all the stuff that was going on, and I enjoyed it tremendously. But I wasn't able to get to all of the different seminars. There was just so much going on.
And Mike, the same thing with us. That's one of the things that Vince and I talked about after the expo. The negative about organizing it was you could not go to all the seminars that you wanted to go to, and I know exactly what you're speaking of.
Okay. Well, maybe we can do some videoing on the next one.
Well, we've already talked about that, and we've got a guy with a camera, and it's in process right now. Mike, I wanted to let the class know that when you were breaking up a little bit when you're talking about your miniature light that you carry with you. And so what Mike was doing was, as this gang of 100 was in front of him, he had this miniature light that, and I mean, this thing is the size of, if you folded a stamp in 4, that's how big this light is. So it's a little tiny thing that you can put between your fingers. And so he faked that this light was coming out of his ear, and he swallowed it, and so forth. And he faked a massive, massive, convulsive-type tuberculosis cough. And rolling on the ground and in a fit is what this scenario is pictured like. Mike, let's take the class to the next level, an even more serious event, if you can.
Okay, how much force are we talking about?
Well, I mean, you can. I know you've been involved in shootouts, so let's take it one step further.
Convenience store, and it was my cousin's convenience store. And he asked me to come over, and what it was, he was trying to throw a sales pitch at me. And it was 8:30 on a Friday evening, and I just got in there, and we started talking, and, you know, people are in and out of the convenience store, so anytime somebody come in, I just turn my back and start looking around. And then I wasn't even there 10 minutes, and then I heard somebody say, give me your money. This is a robbery. And I turned around, and there was 2 men there, masked men, and one had a gun and was pointed at my cousin, and he kept demanding money, and I carry, and I carry it small on my back so I can reach it from left or right hand, and I drew it with my left hand, and I put it in my right hand, while the other bad guy was watching me. He was looking me right in the eyes, you know, giving me that intimidating look, and that whole time I was arming myself. And then I was trying to figure out, well, you know, what am I going to do? I'm not a policeman. So as a citizen, we have different rules than a policeman does. But I couldn't figure out how am I going to stop this thing. And I want to just say, why don't you just go on home, forget about it, you know. But, you know, I didn't know how to say it. And I thought, well, I could shoot. But, you know, I still have to live in myself morally, you know. So I couldn't figure out what to do. And then my cousin, he was terrified. And then the guy says, give me the money or I'm going to kill you now. And then my cousin just pointed at me. And then, you know, so now my thinking time was over. And the guy looked at me, and then as he was swinging around, I pulled mine up, and I got him. And then the guy at the door, he took off. And then I jumped over him and ran out the door. I thought maybe they're going to have friends sitting in the car, so I wanted to get them all while they're still sitting in the car. But he was running down the street, and so that was it. And so here I am standing here in front of the convenience store and holding a gun, and I'm thinking, boy, did I get shot? And so I'm looking at myself, and I was okay. And then I thought, well, I bet you it looks funny, me standing here, and you look in the door, you see a guy laying on the floor inside. So I went back inside, and when I went back inside, I saw 2 empty rounds on the floor. And I thought, well, maybe they got me. So I looked at myself again, and I was okay. I ended up taking 2 shots. And the police they got there 3 minutes later. And the family and the friends of the guy I shot got there 3.5 minutes later. So if it was the other way around, it could have been just a starting of a shootout. I mean, it was amazing. It was so quick when this whole thing happened. It was just amazing. And the response from the police was, like I say, 3 minutes, but that's way too long for something like that. But I say, so I take steps on protecting myself.
Mike?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what can our class take away from this? You've given 3 lessons about how you've gotten out of pretty intimidating situations. One, the last one, you had to pull your weapon out and use it. What should our class know and apply from what you've just told us? Now, not everyone is a trained Marine, as you are, and you've trained SWAT teams, so you've trained people that do this for a living. So what does the average person take away from what you've told us? What can they apply?
Well, the first thing you need to understand, it can happen to you. I never thought it could happen to me. I mean, I was the last person I thought. I don't even, I don't think I even appear or carry myself like a victim. But there's some people with some bad people with bad judgments, and they look at me as a victim. So if that's going to happen to me, it can happen to anybody. But what you need to do is just prepare. And as you prepare for anything, it doesn't make any difference. Whatever it is you're preparing for, as you prepare, you're learning. And as you're learning, then that's when everything just makes sense to you. I'll tell you, you all have your sayings, and I've got one of mine, and that is when you're prepared, when bad things happen, it just turns out to be a challenge. If you're not prepared, you have a disaster.
So, Mike, are you saying that you should think through scenarios that might happen to you and what you might utilize as tools to your advantage? And let's discuss that when we come back on the other side of this 3/4 hour break. So
this is USA.
There's something. This can be sliding. What are today's hot? God, take my. When you go to the DC for 2 seconds during the.
Class is back in session. Turn up the volume. USAPrepares.com with the original survival economist, Vincent Finelli and Mark Wright.
Welcome back to USA Prepares, the radio program. I'm Mark Wright. I'm here with the original survival economist, Vincent Finelli, and we are having a fascinating discussion with self-defense expert Mike Mah. And Vincent, we still have Mike on the line. Why don't we continue the last few minutes of this program talking with Mike?
Okay, we certainly can. Class, I'd just like to tell you that if you'd like a free copy of The Inflation Deception, please call 1-800-630-1498. That's a special number just for our class, usaprepares.com, 1-800-630-1498, 1-800-630-1498. Free copy of The Inflation Deception. Or you can even ask for a copy of the Uses of Inflation white paper, or maybe you can even ask for both. I haven't tried that one yet. Mike, it's so good to have you on the line with us. We were talking about you have to prepare for these kinds of situations. Now, are you saying think about these things before you get into them and think about what tools you might have with you or bring with you or use that are available right then and there? Or are you saying plan right in those final seconds before this event happens?
Okay. On tools, you need to use tools that you are comfortable with. And tools could be anything or nothing. If you're good with your hands, then you don't even need any tools. But even without that, keys, ink pen, just any item that you're comfortable with that you're going to have with you, and just know how to use it, what you're going to do with it. And then after that, all you need to do is realize there is a situation coming. I call this zone defense. And the third zone is far enough away, you have a chance to run. But if you're like me, you're too old to run. So then, and in zone 2, you start preparing. In other words, you get whatever tools you need to get the job done. And then you wait for the zone 3, and that is once they get entering your safe zone, your zone 1, right about 18 inches from you, and then you act. You do what you got to do to stay safe. But you have to think about this stuff and prepare for it ahead of time, because if you don't, you're going to be scared and you're going to be focused on calling 911 or screaming or doing something other than protecting yourself. So you have to think about this ahead of time and prepare. A lot of times I prepare, I get armed, and the people don't even realize that I got armed as they're approaching me.
Well, Mike, you,
Mm-hmm.
all the pictures and all the memories I have of you, I'm looking at Mike's World, Live It, the cover of one of your books. You're on the motorcycle with your dog Xena, and you're grinning ear to ear. Okay, and
It's a great picture.
Yeah, and then on the back of the book, there's a picture of you, and you're grinning ear to ear. You look like the most innocuous, harmless guy. And then there's another picture of you. You're a few thousand feet in the air. You're jumping out of an airplane, and